Hey guys, today I have a really exciting video for you because it's a real piece of history. And what could be better than to have a bomber crew jacket and this Luger that was brought back by Lloyd Hauer, who was part of the 99th Bomber Group in World War II. So from the thumbnail, I really wanted to do this video because of the popularity of the new series on Apple. And I confess I've only seen the first one, but I'm looking forward to seeing the rest. Masters of the Air, you've seen the ads for it, and you didn't know I was actually in the film. You can see me right here. Just hanging out with some of my homies. No, actually, that's due to the brilliance of our photographer and AI. And what brought all of this up was this week, we got in this bomber jacket, which is a sheepskin with exterior leather. We're gonna take a look at that. And yes, I did get the pants. I tried on both, and we were able to put it into the ad for Masters of the Air. And also, at the same time, this was mailed to us to sell on consignment. And this was actually brought in by a local man whose father was Lloyd Hauer, who was in the 99th Bomber Group. And the show, Masters of the Air, is about the 100th Bomber Group. So quite a coincidence. This did not come with this, but they sure go together for this video. Let's take a look at the pants and the jacket first. Okay, we're gonna do the pants first. You can see the sheep wool or sheepskin is on the inside, zipper in the front, and then this is a very light layer of leather, and it's disintegrated a little bit. This is a little stronger, but if you grab this strong enough, it'll pop through. It's just a thin layer there. It's also, you can see me trying it on here, and in the back, it was ripped a little bit, and you can see the suspenders. Here's me holding the suspenders, and that's what the suspenders look like. And you can see it in the movie. Throughout the movie, they show them wearing this pants and jacket. And here's how you know this is original from World War II. You can see Army Air Forces, which Army Air Forces was exclusively used in World War I, World War II, because right after World War II ended, the Air Force went out on its own and is now just the Air Force. But during World War II, the Air Force was part of the Army. You can see that also in this tag. You can see property, Air Force, U.S. Army. So this is from probably 1943, 1944. There's the pants, and these are size medium. They fit me just fine, but a little bit delicate. We will be offering this bomber jacket along with the pants for $650. That's for both items as an assembly. They actually make modern ones. It's kind of a fashion statement. You can see them online almost anywhere. Quite expensive, but they're good-looking fashion statements. The pants you probably wouldn't use a whole lot in terms of wearing them, but I did wear this for a bit, and it's quite comfortable. Again, you can see the patch for Army Air Force. There's the insignia, and you can see here, size 40, regular, property of Air Force, U.S. Army. So we know this is World War II. So World War II era, and again, we're selling this on consignment. This is in better shape than the pants, and really is truly a part of history. So again, this assembly did not come in with the jacket and the pants. It's just interesting they came in about a day apart. And this was a local family. I will get more information if somebody ends up buying this. And just so you have a pricing information, the Luger, it's considered a rig because it comes with the spare magazine, it comes with the tool, the holster. We'll be taking a look at that. It's a police Luger rig, and I'll go over this information. This came with the actual documents, which documented it to Lloyd Hauer. That's Lloyd there. Probably a little taller than me, but a little thinner through the stomach because while I can get the jacket on, it's impossible for me to zip it up. So let's take a look at the documents first. You can see we actually have 3 certificates here. We know that he got this in about May. Well, this certificate is from June 11th. We've got another one that says May 25th. It's got his name, Lloyd Hauer. He's a staff sergeant. I'm not sure what his job was on the plane. He wasn't a pilot because that would have been an officer rank, but perhaps a machine gunner. You can see his signed his name here. And this was for permission to take home a war trophy. And right here, you can barely see it, but German Luger number 2076. And if we look right here, 2076, it's also written under here, maybe a little easier to see, 2076. There is a letter suffix which looks like an R, but they don't record that on the paperwork. Let's look at the other piece of paper. This is very flimsy, a lot like the pants I just showed you. Here's the other certificate we have. Lloyd Hauer has Staff Sergeant. Now this is the one, this is attached to this, and yeah, this is May 23rd, 1945. So the war ended May 7th, and we have to try to figure out how he got this German Luger. So this, for sure, was brought home by him because it's documented several times. Again, you can see the serial number. Now, they do caliber 38, which is US for 9mm. It's actually a 9mm Luger. There's the serial number again. So we have that recorded twice. It brought it back. It talks about as his luggage. It was put with his luggage when he brought it home. How would he have gotten a German Luger? Well, here's another piece of evidence that I'll show you. He was stationed in England. His flight time from England, this is every one of his sorties or each mission that he was sent on. So it has his name, Lloyd Hauer. He's got his GI number here. This is dated May 7th, so he may or may not have gotten the Luger already, but this is right before basically the war is over by the 7th. He went on 31 missions, and it lists each one of his missions that he went on. If you look at the flight time, I kind of researched this a little bit, and it is definitely from England to Germany and back. So basically, it's an 8-hour trip, 7-hour trip. It's getting shorter and shorter, probably because they were flying direct toward the end instead of going out around the Flak. By the end of the war, there wasn't much Flak left. Actually, he flew all the way into April of 45. So there's all 31 of his missions that's recorded here. This is a copy. The family did keep copies of all the original paperwork. I already showed you his pictures, but getting back to the point I was making, how did he get this Luger? So what I have to assume, because the missions are listed all the way through April, he probably was in England the whole time at a base. And toward the end of the war, he probably was picking up people, or people were coming back. Certainly the wounded were coming back, people who had served for a longer period of time. There was a point system that you got. When the war was over, you were assigned a point system, and you would be flown out to either France or England and then get on a transport ship back to the United States from there. And so in picking up people or interacting with people back at the base, or maybe while he was on leave in London, that would have been a time to pick up this Luger. My conjecture, and I don't know this for sure, I'm not sure the family even knows how he got it. I don't believe he went to Germany and got this from a German prisoner. I believe this was picked up by a British or American soldier who brought it back. They're sitting around waiting for transport. People played cards, but people like Lloyd also would offer to buy souvenirs because your family would always write, especially if you have a younger brother, and they say, "Hey, Lloyd, could you bring me home one of those German Lugers?" So he did pick this up, I believe, in England after the war was over. And this is a police-style holster. You can tell by the closure strap going up, as opposed to a military holster where you can see the strap goes down and on an angle. But this is considered a police-style holster, which fits because this is a police-issued Luger. Now, it started out in World War I. It's an Erfurt Luger. You can see that. It was made in the Erfurt factory in 1918. When the war was over, they had to be refurbished. They could be destroyed. They could be sold elsewhere. They were not allowed to be in the military because they were demobilizing the German military after World War I. But they were allowed to have a police force, of course. So they took some of them, they refurbished them, and this one, 1920, that may not have happened in 1920, but it happened in the early 1920s. This was sent to be refurbished. They added this sear safety right here. That's a sear safety. could show you what it looks like if I take the side plate off. This here safety fits right on top of here and keeps, just adds an extra measure of safety so that if the sear gets bumped, it will not fire around if one is still in the chamber. So that sear safety was added for the police. And then also, I believe, right here, it looks like there's a chip, but they actually put a police safety there. That was for the magazine. So there was two extra safeties. This is the normal safety that all civilian and military Lugers had. This safety, which kept you from firing. This would keep the trigger from firing. This sear bar would hold it up to keep it from firing. It won't fire. Take the safety off and then it will fire. But the police added this sear safety and then also a magazine safety right here. This magazine safety, they tell me, was very annoying. They're hard to find intact because it seems like what the police did as soon as they got them, they yanked them off or they broke them off, and that would leave that chip there. So this once had a magazine safety. It has the sear safety. It was definitely reworked. At that time, it was most likely refinished. You can see the original military stamps, but this one stamp right up top, that was a rework stamp. Now this Luger, he picked a good one because it's all matching, including the magazine. Now that magazine was done in the police depot. That's not a factory font. You have to study this as much as I do to know immediately that there's a difference. You can see the font is a lot bigger, doesn't match this font. So this is an original magazine, but it's an original magazine from when it was reworked in the early 1920s. So we have one matching mag. By the way, this has an aluminum bottom. Simpson Luger Company was the first ones to use the aluminum bottom in the 1930s. So this aluminum bottom magazine was probably added in the early 1930s. Now we also have a spare magazine. This one is also police style because of the number 2. This one has number 2 on it. So this one is not numbered to the gun, but it also has number 2, and it is an aluminum bottom police magazine. You can see they both have nickeled tubes. This one's a little more tarnished than this one, but they came together. And then let's take a look at the tool. The tool has a little squiggly here. It's poorly stamped, but I believe that's an Erfurt proof. So this was an Erfurt tool, which matches the gun. And then also, we have the serial number right here. You can see 2076. So again, not done at the factory, but when the police arsenal put this together, they stamped the tool, they stamped the magazine, they put the rework stamp. So they basically redid the whole Luger. Sometimes between World War I and World War II. I mentioned the Erfurt stamp here, and I mentioned that it's poorly struck, but here's an example. There's an Erfurt stamp. There's an Erfurt stamp. There's an Erfurt stamp. So all over this gun, Erfurt stamp. Again, poorly struck. Not unusual, but Erfurt loved to stamp their guns. Oh, and just so you know this, both of the grips are numbered and also Erfurt stamped. So matching grips, matching tool, matching magazine, with a police holster. And this holster was made in Berlin. There would have been a date right here, but it's worn off. Here, you can see 2076. Here, you can see LH for Lloyd Hauer, and then underneath it, the serial number of the gun, 2076. So the holster matches, the grip matches, the tool matches. This is just a phenomenal rig with a lot of history. Now, Lloyd, we know he attended this reunion in September of 1984, 99th Bomb Group. He attended this. They actually had a change of address for him. This is just their newsletter. It gives you updates on some of the guys in their unit and what happened to them. If I go to the last page, they have taps. And they let us know that this vet passed away as well as this vet. Then we see change of address and found. Lloyd evidently was not on their mailing list because they found Lloyd. You can see he's from Myerstown, Pennsylvania, not too far away. And I already mentioned his family brought it to us. They gave us copies, not originals, but they did not want to keep the gun in the house, so we happily took that. And this is just information about Lloyd, and since then he has passed away. And so all of this information, what does this do for the price of the Luger? So if I were buying this Luger, I'll give you retail value, I'm typically buying it at 15% consignment off of the price, or about 20% off if I just buy it outright. But a gun like this is going to be about $3,000 with a matching holster and tool and magazine, with the history of it being a reworked World War I gun, reworked for the police during World War II. With that history, it's about $3,000. But when you add the connection, we actually found the man who brought it home, and we have iron tight evidence that this is the actual gun that Lloyd brought home. With this information and the popularity of being in a bomber crew, I would say it adds at least $600–700. So we will be offering this complete rig if somebody is interested. Again, separate from the bomber pants and jacket. Hey, what a great piece of history that is. Not only a great Luger with a lot of history, but just the story behind the Luger and then the bomber jacket and pants. It doesn't get any better. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel because we have a lot more videos just like this one coming your way.